So anyone who knows me knows that I am obsessed with Phoebe Bridgers. I love her solo work, I love Boy Genius, I love Better Oblivion, I love everything that she has ever done. I even got to see Boy Genius when they came to my city and I was like 3 feet away from Phoebe. It was the best experience of my entire life. And I've already made this video, but I decided to do a part 2. So if you don't know what the video is, even though you do because you wrote the title, I'm going to be reading books that have been recommended by Phoebe. If you haven't already checked out part 1, check out part 1. I love that video a lot and it was so fun to do, and I found some new favorites, so I wanted to try again. So the first book that I'm going to be reading that Phoebe Bridgers has recommended is The Sympathizer by Viet Van Nguyen. This book follows a communist spy living in America. And about this book, Phoebe has said, let me get my laptop, she's kept it short and sweet. This is a cinematic masterpiece about a communist spy. The Sympathizer is heartbreaking and sneakily funny. I personally am a Marxist, so I think that this is really going to be up my alley. And I'm ready for something heartbreaking and sneakily funny. So I'm going to get to reading this and I will update you as I go on. See you soon. I'm wearing my Phoebe Bridgers shirt, so I'm on theme. I also have Saphira here, who I love very much, even though she just destroyed one of my pillows. We're not going to think about it. It's fine. Anyway, I'm on page 136 of The Sympathizer. Saphira, can you not do that right now? Can you not scratch yourself right now while I'm trying to do something? Thank you. I'm on page 136. I'm realizing that I do not know the narrator's name, and it's not on the back, so I think that's intentional. Basically, this book follows our main character who is Vietnamese, and he's narrating his story to this commander, but you don't know who that is, why he's telling his story. You don't have any information. You just know that he's telling it. And his story begins in Vietnam during the tail end of the war when America is leaving Vietnam in chaos, and he's escaping because he was part of the secret police in Vietnam for, I can't think of what, like the side that America was on. I can't think of what. I'm so sorry. You gotta give me some credit though, because it's like 8 p.m. and I've been in class since 9:30 this morning, so I'm pretty dead. Anyway, he's on America's side, but he's secretly not. He's secretly a communist that's spying on the opposite side for communist Vietnam. So he's just gotten to America, he's just establishing his life, but he's still working under like the general, and he still has connections, the politics of the time. That's such a bad description. Just give me a break, it's fine. So I think this is a really, really interesting book for Phoebe to recommend because she's not that political. Like, she's spoken up against like abortion bans and for trans rights, but she hasn't really gone much further than that. Like, for instance, I don't know, I'm on Phoebe Bridgers' Twitter, so I keep track of all of this, but it took her a while to speak up against the genocide in Palestine, and her fans were really critiquing her for that. So I don't think of her as a very political person, but this is a very political book to recommend, which kind of doesn't align with her brand very much. I will say what does align with her brand is that this book just has great writing. There's also a scene there's this scene where he describes this moment in time when he was young and he masturbated using a squid and then he ate it because he didn't want his mom to eat it. And just reading that and knowing that this is one of Phoebe Bridgers' like recommended books is hilarious, because I can imagine her, at least my idea of her, really liking that scene. And for me, I was reading that scene in the bathtub and I was just sitting there like, okay, that just happened. That just happened. I will say I'm really enjoying this so far. It's really compelling. Like I said, the writing is great. And I think this is a debut novel. Yeah, it's a debut, which is crazy because he writes like a well-seasoned author. Yeah, that's all I have for you now. I will come back when I have something else to say. Goodbye. Hello there. I'm here with Saphira. It's been like over a week since we last spoke. Since I last spoke, I guess. I'm on page 280 of The Sympathizer. Yeah, I said that right. And honestly, I have not picked up this book for like a fucking week because I've been in the worst reading slump ever. I think it's because I'm back to school now and I'm just constantly reading the most dense, boring shit imaginable. Oh my god, my eye hurts. I have on false lashes because I'm going to a ball this weekend and I was trying to test out a makeup look. That's not what you're here for. The thing about this book is that it's actually really fucking good. Like, when I read it, I'm really into it. The writing is amazing. Like, He says the smallest things so nonchalantly, but they're deeply profound. Especially like the rumination on what it means to be American, what it means to be a Vietnamese, what it means to be a Vietnamese American, and just America's treatment of other people. That sounds so stupid. I think you get what I mean. So I'm really enjoying it, but I'm just struggling to pick it up because of this fucking reading slump. But I am going to sit down, I'm going to read it today. I'm honestly don't have that much left, so I'm hoping I can finish it soon. Oh my god, my eye. And that's all. I just wanted to update you because it's been a hot second. And also to like encourage myself and motivate myself. That's what I'm looking for. Also to motivate myself to keep reading. So I will check in soon. See ya. Hello. It is almost 9 p.m. and I just got back from class. However, I did finish the Sympathizer. I got it. I did finish it on my train ride home, so let's talk about it a little bit. The first thing I want to say is this, because I wasn't prepared for it. There is a very, very intense rape scene. Very, very violent. Very, very hard to read. And I was not expecting that. So to anyone who might be interested in this book, just be prepared, because it is very rough, very vile. Honestly, one of the hardest things I've ever read. So there's that. Other than that, I can say this book is just really interesting because, as I said before, he's writing this like confession to a commandment. No, not commandment. Commander? Commandant. I was right. He's writing this confession to a commandment. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I'm just not gonna say it anymore. He's writing this confession. But the interesting thing is that you don't know what side he's confessing to, so you don't really know if you can trust the things he's writing. Saphira! She's here. But it creates this like almost unreliable narrator, or like questioning if he's an unreliable narrator, which I think is really interesting. Also, as I said before, the writing is just amazing and the things that he explores are just very insightful. For Phoebe, like, it still doesn't make sense to me why she recommended this. I think it's a really good book. I think it's a really good time, other than the rape scene and the horrible atrocities that are mentioned in this book. Like, other than that, it reads like a thriller. It's very, like, fast-paced. Maybe not fast-paced. Like, you want to keep reading because you want to see where it's going. But Phoebe isn't very political. Like, she's spoken up for abortion rights, but then she also hangs out with, like, people who don't have great political leanings. She was very, very late to talk on Palestine. And there's also the accusations against Martial War that she hasn't addressed. A problematic queen. So it's surprising to me that she chose such a political book to recommend, but I ended up really enjoying it. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars, maybe 4.5, but I don't know, I'll decide at some point. But what I'm really here to say is that I've decided the next book is going to be Animal by Lisa Taddeo, because this is the book I'm most excited about in this video. And that is because, let me get my laptop. Phoebe recommended this book and said it's like an alternate reality, The Bell Jar. Vivid and completely deranged. So you might not know this about me, but The Bell Jar is my favorite book of all time. Like, if I had to only choose one book, that would be the book. I love The Bell Jar. I read it every couple years and I love it each time. So that makes me really excited that she's compared this to that in any way. I also love that she says it's deranged, because I love a weird book. I know nothing about this book. I haven't started it. Just going into this completely blind. I haven't even read the back. So I will update you once I'm a little further along. Okay, so this is just like a mini update because I'm only a total of 4 pages into Animal so far. But I just really wanted to read you the first sentence of this book because it's kind of crazy if I can ever get to the first page. Okay, are you ready? Because I'm ready. I drove myself out of New York City where a man shot himself in front of me. And then the book continues. He was a gluttonous man, and when his blood came out, it looked like the blood of a pig. I mean, it's really good so far. Again, I've only read a total of 3 pages, so I can't really have an opinion yet. So far, she's just talking about this affair that she had with her boss, which is the man that killed himself, which is not a spoiler because I'm only 3 pages in. I'm really, really liking this writing so far, though. I'm very excited about this. And so far, like, just the general attitude of this book feels very Phoebe. So I'll check in with you once I'm a little bit further and can actually summarize the plot. Hello! I'm only 74 pages into Animal so far, but I figured it's time to give you somewhat of an update about the plot, since I haven't done that yet. So essentially you're following our main character, Joan, and in the beginning of the book, like I said, the guy that she was having an affair with kills himself in front of her. And after that she decides to leave New York and go to Los Angeles in pursuit of this woman named Alice. We don't know who Alice is to Joan. We do know that she's a stranger though, but for some reason Joan desperately wants to be in the same vicinity of her and wants to meet her. I haven't made much progress, one because I'm in law school, as I like to say, every like 30 minutes, and my brain is fried at all times, which has made it really hard to read recently. And second of all, because the writing is very raw and intense and very like punchy almost. So I feel like I can only take it in shorter sprints. Like, it doesn't feel like a book you just sit and you read for hours, if that makes sense. I will say though, I really do like the writing, and it does remind me of Phoebe a lot. There's actually one section on the page I was just on, let me read it to you. Some hypochondriacal thoughts were passing through, cancer mostly, a black and blue on the inside of my arm that I thought could be the first sign of blood cancer. A sharp headache meant it had now spread to my brain. I soothed myself with the thought that if I were dying it would all be over soon. Like, you can't tell me that's not classic Phoebe Bridgers kind of shit. So I think like it matches Phoebe with the raw intensity of it, and I could definitely see her getting a kick out of this. So far this book makes a lot of sense to be on her favorites list, I think. Much more than the other book at least. But anyway, I'll update you once I'm further along, which honestly is probably going to be in a while, but for you it's only going to be a matter of seconds. So bye! You can't see, but I'm wearing my Phoebe Bridgers hoodie, and I didn't even do that on purpose. That's just how accidentally on theme I am. Oh, and Saphira's here. Say hello. She says hello. Oh, she kind of did. Not a happy sound. Okay, anyway, I just finished Animal, and holy shit. This book is so good. Like, so I gave it 4.5 stars. I don't know what held me back from a 5, but that's where I'm at. Just the writing is so gut-wrenching and so raw. Phoebe Bridgers said that it's kind of like the Bell Jar, but more deranged, and I completely agree with that. I will also say there is sexual assault in here, so look out for that trigger warning, as well as a couple others. I don't want to like spoil anything though, so if you need to look at that, look at that. You know yourself better than I do. But I will also say that just like The Sympathizer, this book doesn't use like quotation marks, so I feel like that's an interesting trend for Phoebe and her taste in books, because in the last thing that I did, I read Conversation with Friends, and that also didn't use any quotation marks. So for some reason Phoebe's into that. I don't know why. But yeah, this is an amazing book. Highly recommend. So now I'm moving on to the last book, 10th of December by George Saunders. I've never heard of this author before, but this is a collection of short stories, which makes me a little bit worried because I'm not a short story person. But the last time I read Phoebe Bridgers' favorite books, I read Her Body and Other Parties, which is short stories, and I loved it. So maybe this will be different. About this book, Phoebe has said, "It's the kind of book you finish and walk around in a weird fog for a couple of days. The coolest thing to me about George Saunders is his ability to create wildly different characters and make you empathize with each one. As someone who writes pretty much exclusively from my own perspective, this is a mysterious gift." So that's just gonna be a lot to go off of. Other than hopefully I can empathize with these characters like Phoebe did. I don't know. I'll update once I'm a little bit further in. See ya. I've been avoiding filming because I got my wisdom teeth out and I feel like I look like a chipmunk and my face is bruised and everything. But I finally finished 10th of December, so it's time for me to update you. I will say, like, I just don't have many thoughts, is the thing. Like I said before, I'm not really a short story type of person. Rarely I'll like a short story collection, but it has to be like really, really good for that to happen. This one was just alright. That's just my feelings on it in general, just alright. I think I'll give it like 2.5 stars, like straight in the middle, just very neutral feelings. I will say I liked the first and last stories, but the rest of them I could like take it or leave it. And there wasn't anything in here that really like spoke to Phoebe at all, in my opinion. Like, I guess the writing was good, and I guess like she said he is really good at writing from different perspectives, but I also kind of feel like that's just a quality many authors have. Like, that's just kind of part of their job, is to write from different perspectives. So I can't say I'm like amazed by this book or anything, and I can't really explain why it's one of Phoebe's favorite books. Like, this is kind of like the odd one out for me. So that being said, out of the 3 books that I've read, my favorite was definitely Animal, and this one is also the one that felt the most like Phoebe to me. This just makes so much sense, like this is her brand. Second favorite was The Sympathizer, which doesn't really feel like Phoebe to me, but kind of shows a different side of her maybe, and was really fucking good. 10th of December is my least favorite, and I can't understand why it's one of Phoebe's favorites. But people are multifaceted, you know? I don't know Phoebe is the thing. I know her public persona. Maybe this is the most Phoebe book of them all, and like, I'm just not getting that because it's just not her public persona as much. Who knows, not me. Anyway, I'm going to be continuing this series with the rest of the members of Boy Genius, so let me know down below whether you want me to do Lucy or Julian first. I'm definitely going to do both of them, I just don't know who I'm going to do first. That's all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video. Goodbye.